Right, the title is the scientific study of language. The scientific study of language. So, just before starting, I want to ask you two questions. The first one, what is the study of language? Two, what is the scientific study of language? If you can, there are some rays, okay. If you can, set the difference between the two. What is the study of language and what's the scientific study of language?
The scientific study of language is to use a scientific method, observation, hypothesis, theory.
Yeah, right. And what about the study of
The
language?
study of language is to learn how to read, how to speak.
Yes, you answered the second, but you...
Yes.
Right? So who has got something to add? The study of language and the scientific study of language. There is a big difference, right? Here, concerning what's the study of language and what's the scientific study of language, it's a question of time. The difference between them is a difference of time. The study of language, it's a historical study in the past. In the past, when people studied language, we call it a study of language, okay, in the past. And in the very far past, during many civilizations, such as the Greek civilization, the Roman civilization, the Pharaonic civilization, and many others. Okay, right. And the scientific study of language, here, it's a recent discipline, okay? It's a recent discipline. Recent means new. And it dated just during the 60s. And here it's an old study. Okay, it's an old study. So, what do we mean by an old study? We date it back to the Romans, to the Greeks, to the... If you want, man in general has always been curious about his speech, his language, okay? And they speculated. Here, the term, the study of language, was based on speculation. Everybody has got an opinion. There is nothing organized. Okay, but with time, it became scientific. What does it mean, scientific? It means we use or we apply scientific rules on language study. We apply scientific rules on language study. So, the most important word is scientific. That's why the difference, this discipline is called philology, and that one is called linguistics. Okay? The first one is called philology, and the second one is called linguistics. And the basic difference between them is the term scientific. Okay? And the term scientific gave linguistics a scientific discipline in its full right. In other words, we study language or we study linguistics in the same way we study physics, we study chemistry, we study technology, you understand? And what do we mean by scientific? We mean by scientific, it's based on what we call research, investigation. Or scientific research. So, the scientific could be a research, it could be an investigation. The investigation generally takes a long time. When we say an investigation, we mean I carry out a research on a long time. There is a difference between research and investigation. You understand? Right. So investigation is called longitudinal. Longitudinal, like this. Okay. It's a long word. Okay. Longitudinal. Longitudinal means you carry out a research on a long time, and you do not expect results immediately. You understand? You do not expect results immediately. You need a lot of experiments through time, and right. And here, the term scientific, it's also a systematic research. Systematic research. All that is well organized. It's well organized through what we call a methodology. And the methodology starts from data gathering. You gather information, what we call data gathering, or data collection. Okay? First is you collect the data, and then you organize them. And you organize them from what? From hypothesis. You organize them through hypothesis and research questions. Okay, so here it's an organization. Okay, it's an organization. Right, this is the methodology, this is the research, and this methodology, we apply it on all disciplines. Okay, and then they become empirical sciences. They become empirical sciences. Right, this is the whole explanation. Right, now we go back to the lecture. These are preliminaries. And now you ask a very big question. What is linguistics? You write, what is linguistics? Who can answer? It's a scientific study of language. What is the key word of this answer? It's the scientific study of language. Scientific. Okay. What makes linguistics very, very serious? It's this adjective, scientific. Okay, scientific. Okay. When we say scientific discipline studied and taught, it means that it has got scholars and teachers. It has got researchers and teachers. Okay, studied and taught means that it has got researchers and scholars, researchers and teachers. Studied, yes, studied and taught. On a really large scale. On a really large scale. On a large scale, it means it was studied and taught in many parts of the world, and at a large scale, it was deeply investigated. Right, please. So, a linguist is not forcibly the one who speaks many languages. A linguist is not forcibly, it's good. It's good for a linguist to know many languages. Okay, right. It's something positive. Why? In terms of comparative studies. In terms of comparative studies, because comparative studies are very important. You compare one language to another. Right. So a linguist is not forcibly the one who speaks many languages, but it is something positive for him. But it is something very useful for him, very good for him. Okay. Next, the next point, it's very important, very important. In linguistics, we do not give priority to any human language. Okay? All human languages are studied, all human languages are studied under the same methodology. It means that in linguistics, there is no big or small. There is no high or low language. There is no fat or slim language. A language in linguistics, linguistics considers language as a human phenomenon.